It wouldn't be a Super Barley's podcast without technical difficulties.
Rated M for mature.
On this episode of Super Barley Brothers, we have John talking about No Man's Sky, and he's all alone.
This video podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Give no affiliation with any companies, individuals, or properties mentioned. Any trademarks or copyrights are utilized in fair use and belongs to the entity and is associated with.
Here we go!
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Super Barley Brothers show. I am John, your host for this evening. Tonight is August 25th, 2016, and nobody else is here with me tonight. Scott is busy, Jerry is busy, Ian is busy, so it is just me tonight. So I hope you guys can bear with me. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We enjoy having you here. We normally do this every 2 weeks. We've been on a fairly decent schedule. We had some issues with our last episode, and so we're going to try out, or I'm trying out something new tonight. So sit back, listen, and enjoy yourself.
Beer, 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 I'm going for a beer. Beer, 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 I'm gonna drink some beer. I like drinking beer. Lovely, lovely beer.
Alright, so tonight you guys are stuck with just me, but that's okay. We will make this work. So tonight, for Beer 30, since there's not much to it, I am drinking a homebrewed Saison, one that I've had sitting around for about a year, year and a half. And then, if time permits and time allows, I will be enjoying Jester King's Cloud Feeder. This is a Saison as well, I believe. And it's an authentic farmhouse brewery. Yeah, I don't have the full details. But regardless, it is a fantastic beer. I think I've had it before. And so that will be our secondary beer tonight. That will take care of this portion of the Beer 30. Thanks for sitting around.
I want to play a game.
So tonight, the biggest thing that we're going to cover, and I think it's kind of fitting that I'm the one recording this and there's nobody else here, but I'm actually going to cover No Man's Sky, because it's had some interesting hype around it. It's had some downfalls, some pitfalls with the reviews and delivery versus what was promised. So overall, I mean, it's a good game. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of exploration. A lot of people complained that what we saw for all the demos and all the E3 stuff was this wonderfully gorgeous, well-inhabited set of planets that you could walk through and explore and enjoy. And the game's got that. And there's a quintillion number of planets that you can explore. You don't have to follow a storyline. You can just kind of travel everywhere and anywhere that you want to go. And I like that. I mean, you've got the ability to jump with your warp through different star systems. And wow, I just went out of focus. You can warp through different star systems, or you can use your pulse engine to transfer between different planets and or the space stations within those particular systems. So that mechanic right there is really nice. There is a lot of repetitive gameplay with the way that you have to get around doing things. You're always mining for stuff. You're always trying to protect yourself. You're always trying to explore the rooms, the buildings. You have to keep an eye on the environment, whether it be radiation or heat or cold or the storms. There's a lot going on with the worlds, and I think one of the potential biggest issues that comes across on this game is that you don't have a very large inventory, and so trying to manage your inventory is difficult unless you can find suit upgrades, the exosuit upgrades. And the exosuit upgrades come in the drop pods, and the drop pods are scattered around the planet, and as you find them, they become more and more expensive to add a slot in. For instance, right now I think I have a inventory slot on my exosuit of probably maybe 16 slots, I think, which is, it's a lot for, as opposed to the beginning when you only have about 9, but they've progressively become more and more and more expensive. So you have to take whatever you find, the Gex statues, the relics, badges, pins, and you have to go to the galactic trading hubs or the trading networks, and then you have to trade those in for the credits. Or if you have excess unit or excess inventory of, say, plutonium, zinc, copper, whatever you've got to trade that in for the additional feedback, for the additional units to come back into your home, so that you can buy those additional upgrades. Now, one mechanic that I've found that isn't really touched on in the game is that you can use the transmission towers that you can find on each planet, and those transmission towers will help you find the crashed ships from the alien races. And there's some benefit to that, because each ship that you find may or may not have additional storage space on it as far as slots are available. And so you'll start off with I believe a 10 or 12 slot ship initially. And as you find, repair, and take ownership of these crashed ships, you can gain usually 1, maybe 2, but I've only seen 1 additional storage slot in that ship's inventory. And it doesn't cost you anything to do this other than repairing and moving forward to the next ship, provided you don't want to walk everywhere on the planet. Now, on the really hostile planets, that's difficult to do, because you're constantly having to find zinc or copper to re-up your shields, or if you don't have those shields, then to re-up your life force so that you can survive and last longer without having to find shelter or hide underneath within a cave system. I think at this stage I have a ship with 21 slots in it, and it is protected. It has a couple of environmental protections on it, but the one thing that I'm running out of, or running short of, is the ability to fix the pulse jet within the ship itself. The reason that pulse jet, and mind you, this is all on PC, the pulse jet is important not only for the landing thrusters, because you have to have both elements working. You have to have the thrusters and the landing thrusters working at the same time in order to get that ship to fly. If you don't have those two elements, then the ship will not allow you to fly around the level. Now, this isn't a problem on the PS4, because in the PS4, apparently all you have to do is just fix the landing thrusters. And that's a much easier fix, because that just requires iron ore, which is easily obtainable in the world. And then you need to have the ability, you have to have 4 slots open in either the inventory on the ship or the inventory in your exosuit. And you have to craft some metal, and then once you do that, you can repair the thrusters. So once you get those thrusters repaired in the PS4, you can just take off and fly once you get it fueled back up with the plutonium, which is very easy to find on the levels. In the PC world, you also have to fix the pulse jet. That pulse jet is more difficult to repair because it requires different elements, and it requires 2 higher level elements to be able to fix it. And I believe that usually requires not iron, but maybe I forget what the material is, but I don't believe that it's iron. Regardless, it's a harder to fix situation, so there's more effort that has to be put into it. Now, there's already been some patch updates for the PC as far as what they've been trying to stabilize on the gameplay and whatnot. I haven't had a problem with the gameplay personally. It seems to be smooth, it runs well, the level draws out pretty well, and I'm running on a 970 GT by NVIDIA, and I'm sure that if you're running on a 1060 or a 1070 or a 1080, it's going to be that much better. But I haven't spent that kind of money on my system, so I'm running on a semi-older card, but it runs really, really well without any problems. Exploring the planets is fun. You get to meet different aliens and different creatures, and you have to try to learn their dialect. And in learning their dialect, you can either, whenever you run across an initial alien, you can ask them for help, trying to learn their dialect. And they'll generally give you a word, and you'll be able to absorb what that word is. You'll learn it, and then when you see the text in the next conversation, that word will be translated for you. It won't just be gibberish. The other way to do that is to find runes or the encyclopedia indexes. The encyclopedia indexes sit on a wall mount system within each of the stations. Walk up to it, activate it, and then you'll learn a word. As for the runes, they're scattered throughout the world. And if you happen to come across like a shrine or a monolith, then you can learn usually 4 words at a time. You'll find 3 pillars that are kind of scattered without that world, or within that rune section. And then up at the top, you'll be able to interact with the top monolith, and that will teach you another word. But you generally have to go through a puzzle to figure out the right action. If you don't select the right action, then you can take damage. You'll be injured. Otherwise, if you don't, or if you do choose the right action, then you will pick up a word, and your standing with that particular species will become that much better, which will unlock advanced dialects, repairs, heals. There's a couple of little features in there that it allows you to upgrade and kind of level yourself back up. I appreciate your patience for those that are listening. Being the only one talking, it'll kind of dry your throat out a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, overall, it's fun. It's a good game for something that is somewhat, I say, quote unquote, mindless. I mean, it's not really mindless. You got to think about what you're doing and how you're going to proceed and plot and go from there. But if you're looking for a game that will allow you to explore and grow with a little bit of monotony, this is a good game. Now, do I think it's worth the $60 that I paid for it? Not really. I would have much rather picked this up for maybe $15 to $30. So at this stage, I feel a little taken for what I spent on it. The content isn't quite what everybody expected it to be, but it's not a subpar game. It's just a little underdeveloped right now. So they're going to have to do some work on it. They're going to have to add some, not necessarily DLC, but they're going to have to add some tweaks and some fixes to the game. And if they can do that, the game will feel and play a lot better. And that would be the preferred method to go, is just kind of tweak the game out, get it fixed, and from there allow it to become and grow into a bigger element. I have yet to run across a planet that anybody else has already landed on and discovered, because every planet that you land on, you can choose to upload the data once you've scanned that planet, and that will go into their generalized database. If you choose not to rename something, it just takes the default name that was already built by the game developers. Otherwise, you can go through and you can custom name whatever you find, be it an animal, be it flora or fauna, or the actual planet itself. You can rename it all. So it could get really fun. It could get really adult rated if it needed to. Otherwise, it's just going to be whatever the game already is at its core. But again, a little bit more in the build out, a little bit more content, and I think we'll be happier. I have yet to land on a water planet, so I don't know how well those play out. I've landed on very dry, rocky, arid planets. I've landed on very lush, green planets. And I've landed on very acidic planets, where the toxicity will kill you if you're not fast enough. So those are all elements to take a look into. Overall, right now, I would give the game probably a rating of about 6 out of 10, with some content adjustment, with some upgrades and some patching. It could probably get up to an 8. And again, with the price that I paid, it was a little steep for what I was wanting. But I'm not thoroughly disappointed. I'm not like a lot of people are, where they're just completely dissing the game, they're unhappy and everything else. That's unless a game is just broken and unplayable, then I would probably say that I was ripped off. But this isn't broken. It's not unplayable. It's got its content. It's got its ability to play. It just needs some tweaks. So, now that I have rambled on long enough, and since I am the only person here, I will not take up too much more of your time. This is going to be a very short episode, and I'm going to take this, get it edited down, and post it up as probably a half episode. So, you guys be on the lookout for this. Enjoy it. I thank you for listening. You can find me on pretty much every platform with the exception of the PS4 network, but I'm on the PSN network, and that would be at Phoenix42, PH03NIX42. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see you later on.
Thanks for playing.